That was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a debate go down like that. I don't think I've ever seen it go down like that. That was something. That was phenomenal. Who was it who suggested I watch that? I knew about the debate. I had heard it was interesting. No description did it justice. That was crazy. My God.
Please raise your hand if you intend to vote for Donald Trump for president, even though he is now a convicted felon.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Everyone on stage is raising their hand.
Because of Trump's hold on the GOP, there's basically no way to be a member of the GOP without being a vassal of Trump. It means that in every state, even states like Colorado, every candidate is now essentially being run as a proxy for Trump. There's no way to be like, oh, you know, we're going to have the moderate conservative win in this more blue state because there's no way a radical Trump supporting Republican would win here. That doesn't exist anymore. You know, you can no longer get like the moderate Republican front, because if you did, they'd be denounced by the GOP. You can only get the crazies.
First of all, having over 10 million illegal aliens coming into our country in under 4 years, this is unprecedented, and this is a massive lift.
Wait, 10 million in 4 years? Is that true? I thought we had 13 or 16 million living in our country in total. What do they mean coming into? Also, most of those are asylum seekers. Like, we're talking about people who are already here. How many undocumented immigrants are in USA? Yeah, it said, as of 2021, the nation's 10.5 million unauthorized immigrants represented about 3% of the total U.S. population. I don't know where we're getting 10 million in the past 4 years or whatever she said.
With having to defund our law.
Holy shit, I didn't realize their congressional districts were this bad. Wait, hold on. Lauren Boebert's currently running for the 4th district. Where was she previously? 3rd Okay, want to see the congressional district Lauren Boebert was in? The purple one, and now she's gone to the red one. She's moving from the district that's so sparsely populated that it's half the state to the one that's so sparsely populated that's a third of the state. That's what she's jumping to. Nobody lives here, man. There's Denver. You've got 3 congressional districts, 1, 6, and 8 right here that are like 1/20th the land of. This is who voted for Lauren Boebert. You know, in case anyone's ever wondered, like, from Colorado, really? This isn't Colorado. This is, let's be clear here, okay? If you live in the rural backwater of a state, you don't live in the state, you live in the rural backwater. The rural backwater is the same everywhere, okay? Culture comes from cities. I said it! I said it! Hang me! Hang me for being correct. I'm correct. The culture of a state comes from its cities. The culture of a society comes from its cities. It always has. Always, forever. For all time. Ancient Egypt, whatever their capital was. It wasn't Cairo back then. Well, it couldn't have been. No. Their cities. It's always been like that. The rural backwater of everywhere is the same. Thebes? Would have been Memphis? Memphis, Egypt. Exactly. Disagree, Vaush? Cities end up being more homogenous because they participate in more mass media. A small Wisconsin town is vastly different from a small Floridian town. This is something I believe you could only believe if you haven't traveled. I've driven down the highways, man. Those little highway towns, the ones that like serve the rural area and the interstate drivers, those are all the same. It is true that mass media has but like, it's not like they don't have TVs and radio in like smaller towns, right? That affect a lot of these places, you know, it's all Dollar General, Walmarts, and McDonald's. Rural culture is pretty rare. That's why you guys don't even make your own fucking country music anymore. All country music these days is made by like multi-millionaire small business owner failed children talking about, you know, like working their Jeep advertisements into the lyrics of their song, you know, on commission. You watch TV and movies made by big cities, fashion made in big cities for the benefit of people in cities, off trends in big cities. It's just, again, no hate to rural living, but, you know, if you want to be where the shit's happening, it's obviously in the cities, you know?
Mr. Lynch, you've said that if our country is not going to enforce the immigration laws that are on the books, we need to take the quote-unquote bold step of changing them. You've called mass deportation a kind of extreme solution. What specific bold changes?
Kind of extreme. This is moderate politics in the GOP now. It's like, I think it might be a little over the top, to use federal troops to infiltrate every community in this country and deport 10 million people. You know, I think that might be a little, going door to door checking for papers like the Gestapo. I think that might be a little over the top.
Those people aren't the ones working. Those people are the ones causing the crime to go up in Denver and the area around. Imagine, if you will.
Do you have any evidence to support that? Because law enforcement has not put that forward. I'm just curious where you're getting that causation.
Just, sir, if you could kindly post the source, please.
So let's talk about immigration. First of all, nobody here may know, and I know, Kyle, you don't know, Marshall, you don't know, that my father was an immigrant. Okay. My father came from Spain. I was born in Spain. Yo hablo español. Mi idioma de nacimiento era español. Yo puedo conectar con la gente que están inmigrantes. You guys don't know this, but I do. Okay?
Yeah, go back to Mexico, dude. What are you doing?
It's very complex. And there's a lot of people here that want to be in this country, that want to become U.S. citizens, and many of them should have the right, just like my father. Now, but this is very complicated.
Mr. Olstorff, you gave 30 seconds of a biography, and that was your choice. Thank you for your answer. Mr.
Dude, who powered this guy the fuck up before this guy came in here with a fucking mission? Okay, you can tell this moderator hates all of these people, which is what a moderator should be. A moderator should fucking despise the people who are debating. That is what is correct. That is what is morally right. That is how this guy feels. I'm very happy. Hell yes. Look at him. He's like, what? You can't correctly identify my aversion to the question.
Ms. Boebert, this session of Congress is on track to be one of the least productive in history in terms of the bills passed. Your Republican House colleague Andy Bigg said, we have nothing to go out there and campaign on. Another House Republican, Chip Roy, said the Republican majority does not have one material, meaningful, significant accomplishment. And that's what the Republicans are saying. What has the Republican majority in the House done about the price of groceries?
Kyle, we have certainly
now we get the consequence of being purely obstructionist with no actual vision of governing the country yourself, which is that you've got literally nothing. Biden has been like a productivity demon compared to the fucking Republicans.
We have been in closed-door meetings with the Speaker, whoever that may be, Kevin McCarthy, Mike Johnson, and trying to use, as I said earlier, our power of the purse, that leverage, to actually accomplish something and force the Senate to take our legislation and send it to the White House.
What is that legislation on food and grocery prices?
Energy is a great piece of legislation. Our H.R. 1 bill is our energy policy. I have two pieces of legislation that were included in H.R. 1 that would unleash our American energy production.
What?
And that is exactly what we need to do to begin
how does
to
that impact food prices?
So hey, how are you going to lower food prices? Did you know we're going to we're going to put a bill for more fracking permits?
We are unleashing our nation's full potential for economic development and prosperity, and it would lower inflation. So this is one huge step that we could do, but also take care of the reckless spending in Washington, D.C.
Gas prices are honestly not even that high. Like, they're high compared to what you remember back in high school, but relative to the inflation that we've experienced over the past 3 years, gas prices haven't increased to, like, a can of beans is like twice what it was 5 years ago. Gas right now is not what it was 5 years ago, you know? The gas prices have been fine and roughly stable over here in America, at least, you know?
How many bills did you prime sponsor in the U.S. Congress that actually were signed by the President of the United States?
So thank you so much, Richard. You know, it's interesting that you're touting the legislation that you have passed. You also say that you are a no-nonsense conservative. Well, I think the voters back home should know that a no-nonsense conservative should not have a failing Liberty score. We have the Independent Institute who scores representatives for their legislative record. And if you are not voting how you campaign, well, then you get a negative impact, and I'm the only person.
Would you like to answer the question, or would you like to talk about Liberty scores? You can answer the question, ma'am. It's okay.
Will. So,
I asked a very specific question. Please answer.
This guy's such a hater for Boebert. He fucking hates her. It's awesome. This is the energy we need to bring to the presidential debates, okay? Just get somebody who's absolutely fucking contemptuous.
You resigned your position as House Minority Leader after your drunk driving arrest surfaced this year. And my question is not about what you did while drunk, which for anybody who missed it was speeding up I-25 at 90 miles per hour so fast a trooper thought that you were trying to race him. Then you...
Okay, I'm letting this stand as maybe the best example that I have ever seen. This is why liberal civility politics is bullshit, okay? Complete bullshit. If they deserve contempt, they should be treated with contempt. Fuck anybody who disagrees, okay? There is nothing you could do with any kind of like high-minded, you know, we take the high road bullshit. Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close.
You reached for your gun during the traffic stop. You asked the trooper to call the state patrol's lobbyist. Then you asked him to keep the arrest out of the media. My question to you is about what you did while sober. You did not disclose your drunk driving arrest to your Republican colleagues when they were considering you for leader and electing you.
How do they not break out laughing?
About your judgment?
How do they not break? If I see, this is discipline. They are simply on another level. They have a sauce that I do not possess. If I had been reading all that out loud afterwards, when I turned to look at him, I would have the most contemptuous smile on my face imaginable. The fact that he's deadpanning it betrays a level of discipline rivaled by like the greatest, like of the Tibetan monks of history. Okay, like this motherfucker is out there on an 80-day fast, okay? He's meditating on a bed of spikes. He is beyond me.
Did you apologize for the behavior that went on with you and your date or the vaping, or did you apologize, or pardon me, or did you apologize for lying to voters about what you did that night and the disrespect that you showed to service workers that night? What specifically were you apologizing for?
Were you apologizing for the making out beforehand? Were you apologizing for like the groping outside of the pants? Were you apologizing for the specifically like jerking him off? Like what was the physical contact? Like God, dude.
I don't believe there was disrespect. There were things that were absolutely taken out of context.
There's video of your interactions with service workers. I'm asking,
right,
are you apologizing for the lying to voters?
That I
or
flipped
the
someone off and I did not. So, I mean,
okay.
I think it's been very mischaracterized. I'm apologizing for you, Kyle Clark, getting footage and releasing that, and people seeing this in a very private moment.
Certainly. It was very important to figure out whether you were telling the truth
you just had
or
an
whether a
interview
public
recently
agency...
He was one of the people who actually broke the story? I guess that makes sense because it was Denver News, right? It makes sense that he would... It was a very private moment in a very public place. Surely we've all been there, okay? Why would the reps agree to this debate when the mods are so harsh on them? Because on this level, it's necessary. It's actually a contested race. And what else are they going to do, right? The problem that they're facing here is that any kind of broadly publicized debate is going to need to be like repped by a fairly large news station. And that's probably going to be the one out of Denver. And that means the people working there are going to hate them. The only difference is that these guys are actually doing their fucking job properly. Unlike the vast majority of local and national news networks who are so committed to flaccid, impotent, sterile civility politics that they will let anything run by, these guys are treating the candidates with exactly the level of contempt that they deserve and no more, which is infinite contempt.
After the pro-Trump mob that stormed the Capitol was cleared out, Congress reconvened to certify the election result. And Ms. Boebert was one of 147 Republicans who voted to overturn the election results. So I'm going to ask you each...
Never forget that, by the way. Never forget that. Never forget the fact that a majority of the sitting Republicans in Congress tried to go through the legal procedure after Jan 6 happened, after they tried the insurrectionary attack. They tried to, through legal means, overturn the certified votes. Wow. Jesus, huh? That was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a debate go down like that. I don't think I've ever seen it go down like that. That was something. That was phenomenal. Who was it who suggested I watch that? I knew about the debate. I had heard it was interesting. No description did it justice. That was crazy. My God.